It's fine. It's good. I enjoy it. If somebody poured me a glass, I wouldn't be mad at it. But I can't say I'm going to, be tripping over my own 2 feet to get out the door and go buy a bottle of this personally.
Welcome to the channel, bringing a real-world perspective to the real-world whiskey consumer.
And welcome to our Wildcard Wednesday videos, where we draw a sample, this sample tonight, out of our pool of international sipping spirits. We are tasting it totally double blind. We don't know what we're drinking. This way you get the most honest opinions possible, and what you're going to see us do is react to the pour in the glass blind, then find out the price and see if that would change how we feel about it, and then we'll find out what we've been drinking.
All right.
That said, let's get it right on the nose and not delay.
So this is pretty alcohol forward, which is unusual for me to get on something international.
Really? I'm
getting like ethanol, which is what I usually get on a lot of American whiskey.
Man, this is smelling fantastic to me.
It's also smelling very juicy, like juicy, ripe fruit.
Yeah, it smells like a ripe piece of fruit.
But before that, I got like ethanol, which is unusual for like a Scotch or an Irish or anything that's not like an American whiskey.
So I was nose deep on this, but this last time I went in more towards the top of the glass and a little further away, and I got your alcohol. Ooh. That's very interesting.
I also got some black pepper. What is happening?
Interesting. So I could see like black pepper on a piece of real fruit. What kind of fruit though?
I don't know. An apricot? But I don't know.
I'm kind of leaning in that vein.
I'm just kind of guessing. It's like a stretch. It's just
I'm kind of leaning in that vein too. Yeah? Like if you think like more of like a dehydrated piece of fruit, like you get those little bags of dehydrated fruit.
Oh yeah.
That's what that smells like to me.
Actually, now that you mention it, this smells like dehydrated mangoes. When you buy the mangoes that are sweetened from the store, the dried mangoes that are sweetened, they taste different. But if you've ever accidentally gotten the unsweetened dried mangoes, that's what this smells like to me.
It's definitely got a distinct fruitiness to it that's not overly sweet. It's kind of just like a nice, pleasant, sweet, fruit forward pour. The little bit of alcohol on it, but not a lot. Not enough to be off-putting.
And now that I've gone back several times to smell it, the alcohol is kind of dissipated. But my first like 2 sniffs were very alcohol forward.
Yeah, not getting a lot of wood. I'm not getting a lot of malt. Not getting much of anything other than just that fruity sweetness. Let's get into the palate.
Okay.
There's your black pepper.
Yeah, but it's very light.
Yeah, it's light on the palate.
I'm going to need another sip because I didn't get a ton.
Yeah, I got that fruity, that kind of dehydrated, unsweetened fruit on the palate.
Very light though.
I got the pepper first, which was actually surprising.
I got it last.
Really?
Yeah.
It's still lingering, but I just had to wait for that peppery spiciness to dissipate before that sweetness really kicked in. But that sweetness is laying heavy on my tongue right now, but the body is very light. Like it just washed over my tongue super quickly and just kind of disappeared, and I'm just left with like kind of a peppery, prickly sensation on my tongue and a little bit of that lingering sweetness. Let's get another sip.
All right. I feel like this tastes like it might be finished in something, because I'm getting the mango. It's very faint. Everything has stayed the same. Like it's very light washed. Like the liquid isn't very heavy. It's not viscous or oily. The flavors are very faint as far as any fruit flavors, but they're there. And then I'm getting the pepperiness, and I'm getting it on the end, and it's sticking around.
Yeah, it's really wild to me how thin it is on the palate, but how long the flavors linger. That's not a combination you often get.
Yeah.
Much like, well, that would, if you don't get it often, then you wouldn't get it much. But yeah, so that makes perfect sense.
That's true.
But it still has all that fruitiness, the pepperiness. I'm really surprised by how pleasant it is, but at the same time, I have no clue what we're dealing with here. I don't know if it would be like a Scotch or an Irish. I don't know if it would be some other kind of international whiskey. It doesn't feel very familiar, even in type. It seems like a kind of off-profile something or another to me. And it's very pleasant, but I also don't, even though it's thin and the ABV seems kind of low, potentially, I don't think this would be something that I would say is approachable, because the spice is very prominent.
The viscosity of this liquid in this glass reminds me of some Japanese whiskeys that we've had.
Interesting. Okay. Well, we're going to put a couple drops of water in here
Okay.
and see if that changes it at all. This is something we've been doing with all the international sipping spirits that we get into, and it's always been very interesting at least up until this point. We've only had one glass. We were really disappointed we put water in it.
Yeah.
Everything else has changed it in an interesting way, unlike bourbon and rye, which every time we've ever added water, or not every time, but almost every
Most
time,
of the times.
it degrades the pour and we like it a lot less.
There have been some that have been pretty good with water, but not very many.
Yeah. All right, let's get back into the nose now that this had a couple drops in it.
So I don't think this did a ton, except for me, it brought out the pepperiness in the nose more.
See, to me, this is still just straight up fruitiness on the nose, but it's gotten sweeter.
Oh, see, I'm still getting the fruit, for sure, but for me, I'm getting more pepper on the nose, and maybe that's because I've tasted it now, too. So
yeah,
that could be a thing.
Just tasting something and then going back to the nose can completely change it, much less adding water. So to me, this smells like you went from the dehydrated unsweetened fruit over to the dehydrated sweetened fruit.
Oh, okay.
I'm getting that much more of a sugary sweetness on this right now.
Interesting.
Let's get into the palate.
I will say this brought out some sweetness a little bit more. But
a little bit, yeah.
Not a ton.
Not enough.
Not enough.
Not enough.
But it did tame down the pepperiness at the end.
Yeah, I'm getting a little bit more woodiness on the finish now.
Oh, interesting.
The pepper has dropped off, and what I'm left with is like a slightly drying and bitter kind of oakiness. It might not be oak. It might be some other type of wood.
Like that's what we have to reference.
Yeah,
So.
it's almost dry in the way that you would get like a dry red wine. And red wine's usually, it's going to be barrel aged. Like you're going to have a little bit of tannins there. It's just a little bitter and tannic and drying, but not in a bad way whatsoever.
Yeah, it's like a dry red wine kind of tannic drying.
Yeah, honestly, with the pepper being tamed down just a smidge with that water and that woodiness kind of coming more to the forefront, I think this has turned into a much more approachable pour for pretty much anybody looking for something that has like a little bit of fruit and wood influence to it. I can't say that I love it by any means. It's fine. It's good. I enjoy it. If somebody poured me a glass, I wouldn't be mad at it, but I can't say I'm gonna, be tripping over my own 2 feet to get out the door and go buy a bottle of this personally. I don't know how you feel about it.
I'm figuring that out. So if you have an official score, why don't you give it?
I do not. I'm gonna take one more sip and then I'll get one.
I think where I land is in between just okay and thumbs up. I do like it, and I'm going to go ahead right now and give it a thumbs up, but that is subject to change depending on how much this costs.
Yeah. I would say if the price is low enough, I would give this a thumbs up, but I'm going to land at just okay right now. I could take it or leave it. I do like it. Don't hear what I'm not saying. I do like what's in this glass, but I'm not dying to get my hands on a bottle of it. I cannot wait to find out what it is. Let's check and find out price first, see if that changes our rating, and then we'll find out what we've been sipping.
Okay.
So in our wildcard key, this is
27.
27,
Yep.
and number 27 is $65.
Oh, that might have to go to just okay.
Yeah. I'm going to stick it just okay. $65. It's fine. For $65, it's totally fine. I don't think it's bad value at $65.
Correct.
I'm just not going to be in any hurry to spend $65 on this bottle, whatever it is.
I'm tempted to keep it at thumbs up, but honestly, if I'm looking to spend $65 of my money, I'm probably not going to spend this, so it's going to be just okay. I got to be honest. I got to be truthful.
So we're both just okay.
Yeah, it's good
We
though.
We like it. We just...
Yeah,
and it's not bad value.
To see what it is.
All right, this is Powers John's Lane. This is Irish.
What?
This is 46% ABV, and this bottle, it's courtesy of Eric David Gunderson.
This is one previously that I have loved.
We have loved this in the past. Hey, I like it. We both like it. It's just for the money. It's Man, I wish we had a blind head-to-head international sipping spirits pool like we do for bourbon and rye, because I would love to compare this to Green Spot. The whole time I was tasting this, I wasn't 100% thinking Irish, but especially when I saw the $65, I thought to myself, you get a bottle of Green Spot for that. And while I like the proof on this, I feel like I might like the sweetness on Green Spot a slight bit more. Well, here's what I will say, at least in my opinion. I would just buy a bottle of this and a bottle of Green Spot, see which one you like more over time. Because we do like this bottle. We've revisited this bottle several times.
Yeah, but we didn't know that's what we were drinking tonight.
And we don't even try to figure out what we're drinking.
No.
Other
like
than
I would know.
all we do is potentially tell you guys what we're getting. Like we might say this tastes like a Scotch or this tastes like an Irish.
Yeah.
Something like that. But we don't even, if I say something tastes like a Scotch, I'm not even trying to think about what Scotch it might be. We're just going off of what the glass gives us. Completely blank slates.
Yep.
Like I said, a very enjoyable pour. I want to take another sip now that I know what it is.
Mine's gone, so I can't. But we've got a bottle of it, so
yeah.
I can drink some.
So Powers John's Lane, I think, if I'm not mistaken, is 12 years old. I know that part is true. I think it's aged in ex-bourbon barrels, and you're getting some of that oaky, peppery influence from that. And typically we get a little bit more sweetness on this than what we got tonight.
I don't think I've ever gotten as much pepper on this before as when I knew that I was drinking it, so that's interesting.
Yeah, it is very interesting. Good bottle, definitely one to check out. I think, honestly, if you're a bourbon drinker trying to get into Irish whiskey, this is probably one you definitely need to look at, maybe even before Green Spot. But yeah, for $65, like I said, the value's there. Just depends on whether you like the flavor profile or not.
That's it for today. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you have had Powers John's Lane before, let us know what you think about it in the comments below.
Let us know if you loved it as much as we've loved it in the past, or if you just like it and you're not really sure if you're going to buy another bottle like we did tonight.
Yeah, yeah. And if you aren't subscribed and you want to subscribe, we will welcome you in with open arms.
With open arms.
Open arms.
Give it to me, baby.
And then also we do have monthly live streams that change kind of periodically on which day. So if you want to be notified, make sure to hit that bell icon so that way you're notified whenever we have our monthly live stream.
That's going to be it for this one. Be good to each other. And until next time, cheers. No thumbnail.
Thumbnail.
Confused?
Okay, I got one. I'm going to do a different face.
Okay.
Okay, and I'm gonna go. Hold on. Wait, that was I smushed my hands too much.
Am I gonna go? Why you got two on there?
Because I'm like.
Just go for one. Because this is what you look like.